Okay, I've got some Valvoline 2-stroke oil here. Poured a little in my cap. Dip my finger in there and I'll lube this up really good. And get it from both sides like that. And then I'll lubricate this taper really well. That'll help me push my piston. Now, I know the cylinder orientation will be like this, so I know the intake needs to go like that. So we'll turn them over. And I've got my rings clocked 120 degrees. 120 degrees. 120 degrees. That looks about right. So I'll go ahead and I didn't even have to squish those with my fingers. That tapered cylinder allows you to work it in there really nice. How's that going in there? Yeah, it was going nicely. Okay, there she's installed, and you can see it says in there and down, so very nice. And she's nice and well oiled. There we go. So what I like to do is when I install it, I will just push this far enough down when I get ready to install it, like that, just to expose the wrist pin holes, and so I can get the wrist pin in onto the connecting rod and put in my clips, and then you can just tap it back on. At least I hope to. There we go. Yep. Okay. Very good. That should work fine. Okay, so we'll get this installed tomorrow. Before we do, I want to show you the crush washers that we'll be using. All we'll need are these right here. And, yep, very nice. Okay, we'll get this installed tomorrow, so I was hoping for a base gasket too, a new one. I don't see it. That could be a problem. Well, we'll deal with that when we come across it. But I've got the head gasket, which is important. But so is the base gasket. I could always make one, I guess. Okay, we'll give her a try and we'll see how it goes. Okay, this is the GY6, the 70cc big bore kit I hope to put on my Kymco. This one's called a Kymco. I'll measure the deck height with calipers, make sure this is all right. But I've got the cylinder, I've got the piston, I've got the 5 rings, you've got 2 compression rings, and then 2 really thin rings and an oiling ring. This controls the oiling. It'll go on the bottom, and then these 2 other compression rings go on the top, and I'll clock them at about 120 degrees apart, you'll see. The indentation for the valves, this says in, so that'll go on the intake side of the cylinder. The cylinder will go like this, piston will go like that on the intake side. So I'll go ahead and install these rings. I've got a really black ring here and a semi-silver one. The silver one I'm going to put on the top, and this one will go underneath it, so I'm going to install that one. And it'll go, got to get it down one more groove, like so. It's going. Oh, wants to go into that slot. Great. See if I can move it one down now. Yeah, there we go. Well, I think I'll take it back off. I think what I want to do is install this gray one first and fill that slot so then the next ring can slide right over it. There we go. And this one should go into the next slot right below it. And I'll show you what I mean by the clocking. There we go. And by the clocking by 120 degrees, you can see the slot of this ring right there where it meets. And then the ring right below it, where does it come? Where is he at? Oh, there he is. So here's that one there. And so 120 degrees would be about there. And then what I'll do, I'll slide these two rings on the bottom and I'll put that another 120 degrees. Let me put this oil ring in here first. It goes like so. You can see how that oil ring fits in there. And then once you get that in, you can put this one in there. And put him right on the bottom. Well, he wants to go on the top then. No, he went on the bottom. Yeah, see, like that. And then I'll put the, let's see what he joins right there. So then I'll put the next one. Walk him on down. He'll go on the top part. Just kind of walk him over. There he goes. Come on, you. Walk over. There it goes. Very nice. And where is he? Where's the other one? There it is, right there. Put them together there. I don't know if you can see that. Got one wafer ring there, one there, and I've got the oil ring between them. There, they both meet there. So I want this ring to be 120 degrees from that one, and then the top one to be clocked 120 degrees from that one. So right about there. There you go. So the rings are installed, and what I'll do is I'll take some oil on my finger and I'll oil this cylinder. And if you look in the bottom, it's tapered real nicely, so once I get this oiled real good with my finger, I will go ahead and squish the rings with my fingers and insert the piston from the bottom, and then I'll just let it sit in there till we're ready to install it. Okay, we got our lines and everything. We got the chassis back on. We did the wires back. I just put the rack back on. So now we're going to light it. So wish us luck. Okay, we had to remove the carburetor so we could put this cowl back on. But we did that. We did the bottom. We're looking good. Okay, we'll put our rubber seal back on for a cowl. Just how it looks when it came off. Yeah, that looks right. Erwin smoothed that out a little bit. Looks good. I'll go ahead and put the car back on. Try not to drop my nut down in the intake. Have to take it all apart again. That would be great. Oh shoot. Oh man, I should have kept my mouth shut. Almost did it. Okay. There we go. Can't drop anything in there now. Good and tight. Okay. Guess it's cowl time. This I know goes like so, and then this I know goes through the exhaust, right? Or where does that go? Like so. I think this is the exhaust part, isn't it? Well, we'll figure this out, folks. Okay, we reinstalled the two side bolts over here, those two long ones. For those of you doing this, you remember those two. Just installed this with the new gasket. Make sure the cylinder you buy comes with the gasket for the cam chain tensioner. Put in the two bolts, then I put in the long spring thing. It's a little ratchet thing in there, so it just went right back in. You'll see, simple enough. Now we're just doing the valve cover gasket, and it's just coming right along. We'll be ready to throw the scooter and carb and everything back on this, and we'll be ready to test it out and say a little prayer over our scooter and that we didn't miss anything, and we'll light it. Okay, I cleaned those studs a little bit and put a little bit of Loctite on them. We don't want them coming off, of course. And I'll go ahead and put all these four of them, all four of these back down. This is going back together nicely. I'm surprised at how precise the parts actually fit. So all we needed was the cylinder, piston rings, wrist pin clips, and the gaskets, you know, the base gasket, which we didn't need. We just used the old one. But the metallic crush head gasket you definitely need. And we'll go ahead and tighten this down. I'll do it by hand so I can feel how much tension I have on it. I like to use this little shorty snap-on because I have a real good feel. You know, I'm not going to use a torque wrench because I've done a million of them, so I know how it feels. But since it's M6, I would guess, I don't know, around 6 or 7 foot-pounds. I don't know, I have to look it up, but I'm just going to go by feel and just work it on down in a crisscross pattern. Do not over tighten these and rip them, but you need them tight. Yeah, I'll have to adjust these valves. Well, adjust the valves too. I'll show you how to do that here in a second. Yes. Let's get them tight. Oh yeah. That's hit. That one's hit. You can really feel when they hit. It's pretty good steel that they're using. It's Kymco. Yeah, that's really hard. Yep. That's hit. That's it, baby. Now then, see this valve, I can move it left and right, but there's no air gap at all. So this valve was starting to float. This one actually has a little air gap, but very little, but more than the other one. So what it is, you don't want these valves to float. That's what the problem is. So we'll go ahead and adjust these now while it's cold. We can get to them. It's a convenient time to do it. I think it's 8mm. No, it's a 9. And what I do is I'll use these vice grips, needle nose vice grips. Excellent tool, by the way. Put my, basically what I'm, this is what I used, okay. Basically what I'm looking for is when I feel the valve hit a little, when I feel it, it hits right there, and then I back off about 1/8 to a 1/4 turn. That typically will give you the air gap you want. Yeah, you can hear it too, a little bit of tapping. That's perfect. I just want to lock it a little bit more. I'd say that's about maybe 9 thousandths. It's a pretty small gap, but it's more than what he had. So there's just enough where you know it's not floating. Darn, I got that one tight. Holy cow. See, it hits right up there. It hits. So maybe go a 1/4 turn out and lock it down. Oh yeah. There we go. Nice and tight. Perfect. Yeah, you don't want these to float. If they're pushing on the valve, it won't allow the valve to close all the way, and then you start cooking the seat and building up carbon under it, and all kinds of stuff, bad stuff can happen when you let a valve float, so don't do that. Okay, we'll start putting it back together because this top end is, oh, gotta do these two on the side, and then we'll just continue putting it back together. Okay, a little bit of 2-stroke oil. I'm gonna lubricate this cylinder really good with some 2-stroke oil, and then I'm gonna push the piston down to where the wrist pin holes are exposed, like that. Then I'm gonna lubricate this, the top part of the piston right above it. So plenty of lubrication for our first start. And I like to do it this way, install the piston on that way and tap her on down. I've tested the wrist pin, it fits perfectly. So I'm going to install my first clip into the piston on this side. Get it in there. And I like to clock it at 12 o'clock. Like so. And that clip is in there. I'm inspecting it, making sure it is in fact in there. Good, looks good. And then what I'll do is get a piece of baling wire and control this cam chain. Like so. Get this cam chain like this. Like so. And then I can get my piston back up in there. There it goes. Just for the moment. And I'll feed this wire through there. We'll slide the cylinder. Make sure that the spacers are on here. I left those on there. And they match up with this new cylinder. Okay. Now what I want to do is push the piston down just far enough. You guys can do it the way you like. This is the way I like to do it. Where I just expose the wrist pin area. Now wrist pin, I'm going to dip it in some oil. And I'm going to thread it through there like so. Make sure it's, looks like it's lined up right like that. It should go in there. There it goes. Yes. beautifully. Go in there all the way in. It should bump up right against the wrist pin I installed on the other side. Now I'm going to take this wrist pin clip and install it on this side. Clock him at 12 o'clock. And that looks good. Looks very good. Get the flashlight, make sure this pin's in all the way around. It should be good. And that wrist pin's in there too. Looks like she's in there. Okay, now we'll go ahead and should be able to, at least I have in the past. There it goes. It's going right on there. Yes, beautiful. Okay. Next part will be the replacement of the cylinder head, and I do have a gasket for that. I don't see it. Oh, here it is. It's a crush washer, metallic. Crush side out. Now I need to do this. All the way down. Good, looking good. Then I want to take the chain guide, the other half of the chain guide tensioner, and we want to, oh, you know what? I should have done that before I put that gasket on. Do it. See if I can do it. Like, hey, can you lift that gasket a little bit? Otherwise I have to take it all the way off again. Just kind of lift it out. Yeah, there. Okay, now put it back down. Got it. Okay, looking good. And then now we just want to replace the head. We're getting a lot of use out of our wire pulling on our cam chain. Oh, you know what? Before I put this head on, I want to clean that. There's a lot of oil on there. Brake parts cleaner on there. Put my air chuck on here. You know what you can do? You can put that cat back on that two-stroke oil. Come on, air chuck. There we go. Nice and clean. I'm checking my spacers. There's one on here. Shouldn't there be another one? Oh, there is. It's still on this engine. Got it out. Okay. So I think what I'll do is put them on now. Oh, you know what? It goes here and here. That's where that goes. One goes there, and the other one goes cat of corners. Like that, right? Isn't that right? Yep, that's right. That's where it goes. There it goes. It's going in there. Okay, good. Got it. Okay, now I can put the head on there, which is what I was trying to do all along. A little prep work there is all. Okay. And then this should, when it finds its home, it should go on there, and it did. Very nicely. And then I got these spacers. One there, and one there. Next comes the cam. If you do, remember you need to triangulate it like this. So I can get this wire out now. And when I put this cam chain back in there into its cradle, maybe I should have done the bottom part first. You know, there's my little pocket screwdriver. There we go. Now then, this should be, and it's not, I'm way off. Okay, and this is still on top dead center. Yeah, it sure is. Okay, so I need to, well, I'm not too far off. Like a tooth. Okay, let me reclock this. It needs to go one tooth the other direction. Come on, let go. I think that's it. Right there. Alright, is that right? Oh yeah, that's got it. Lined up again. There, and that's at top dead center. And that's with it in the cradle. Good deal. Now we just have to put the rockers back on. If that will stay long enough to allow me to put it back on. Looks like it's going. I think it's the problem with the spacer. That's okay. Right there it goes. Gently. Yeah, very nice. Okay, so. Okay, you got all that. Okay, you can stop. Now here's the Kymco. So I'm measuring the cylinder height. It's like 53.22 millimeters. Let me measure the new one. You said it was 52 point what? 53.22. 53. This one's 53.22. Yeah, right on. We can use it. Perfect. That's dead nuts on. Good stuff. All right. Okay. Looks like Kymco uses a different wire clip for the wrist pin, so I'm gonna have to pop those out. So this piston's got to come off of here. I think I need a pick. Okay, nice pick. I just so happen to have. Everybody does it their own. I got it. Okay. I'll be in trouble if I need it back because I don't see where it went. But I got it. And I need to push this out. Here it comes. Okay, she's off. I guess what I want to do now is just stick that in the cylinder like that. Just save it. Where's the other one of these? Okay. Okay, let me have my seat. Okay, and that's fine, that'll stay. And I'm looking at this base gasket that's on here, and it looks really good, so I'm going to use it. But the only thing I want to do is just spray it and clean it a little bit. And where's my brake parts cleaner spray? Now this is the automatic cam chain tensioner, and it's just a spring and a dowel, and it pushes on this bar. Before we lift these parts out of the cam chain, let's go ahead and remove this now. It's just a long spring that pushes on it. Might as well bump those off. We'll loosen them since they're on the block. We'll need to transfer this part over to the other head, or excuse me, cylinder. For whatever reason I keep calling it the head. We're doing the cylinder. Okay. Now we're going to lift this off. Remember, the X and the E was down here on the bottom. Now we can rock this cam. That should enable us to get the chain off the cam like that. Remember to line it up with those two marks when you put it back in. Should be able to lift this cylinder off. Oh, we can. There we go. I mean the cylinder head. There we go. I need my resin mallet. Okay, thank you, compressor. We'll just give it a... There it comes.
I'm gonna let Lily out.
We're filming.
Oh.
Okay, so here it comes. There's our piston. And rain, and she's off, just like that. There we go. Yeah, and if you look at this new cylinder, you can see it's much larger. So we're putting this in its place. I'm going to mic it and everything and make sure it's the same deck height and everything before I install it. Otherwise, I'll put this one back. But okay. Sorry for all the air compressor noise, folks. I don't recommend using it to put bolts in, but to take them out, it's great. Okay, so we did have to take the emissions control thing off to get this valve cover off. And it uses O-ring. Very nice. Okay. Okay, so what do we want to do next? We want to remove these 4 bolts. And then these 2 on the side over here so we can lift this. Well, first we're going to take the cam out. So we're going to do the rockers and the, not the cam gears over here, the chain and all that. We're going to, oh, come around here to the other side, I'll show you something. Also, when you're at top dead center, you'll know it because this hole and that hole is in line with the cylinder. This is the cylinder head. Well, this is the cylinder, this is the cylinder head, and these 2 holes are lined up with the cylinder head. My brain was thinking 2 strokes for a moment. But that top dead center. Valves are a little tight, they need adjusting, but we'll do that when we put it back together with the new cylinder. This is all we're replacing, is the cylinder down here. So I'll go ahead and take these two out. That's that 10 again, isn't it? Ziploc bag, please. Pollution control device. I'm not sure I had to remove that. I don't think I had to. I did. I'm going to put it back. Hold on, I got to get a screwdriver. Okay, one thing I noticed on this one is there's 4 or 5 of these broken fins off this squirrel fan that's supposed to keep it cool. And there's a little chip on this little magnet here. May want to file it down. It's like a rock or something got in there and bounced around and took out some cooling fins and chipped this a little bit. So we'll clean that up, and I think we'll be okay with the few teeth missing off the squirrel fan. Certainly isn't going to help our cooling any, but it is what it is. If you'll rotate this by hand, you'll feel when you hit the compression stroke right there. And then over here on this side is your timing mark. You want to come around over here? And it's actually 3 timing marks, and there's one that says F and then T. So fire right there. I'm going to line it up with that. So now I know the engine's at top dead center, because I can feel the compression. And there it is. Okay. There we go. I'm going to clean this.
is that, a screw back here? Which way does it go? Out?
Yeah.
There's my exhaust gasket. Okay. Don't ask me why they used the Torx for that. Okay. Some kind of emissions control thing. Come over here. What is that, a 10? Yeah. Pipe off. On the other side. Well, yeah, there's the door. That is. This one looks like a Torx. I gotta find one. Okay, we lifted it off. We had this to disconnect. It was kind of pulling on that, and the fuel line was still hooked to the carb, and that was causing us a problem. But just those two things, and as you can see, there she sits, there she sits. There she sits, yeah. There it is. Okay, we're going to take the plastic off. This intake manifold, no big deal, plastic off, and then we're going to put the engine at top dead center. We'll show you that. Okay, you got to get this bolt right here, back up so people can see. There's two of them, one on this side and one on the other side. You got to hold it with the wrench. Okay, I got it. The bolt still needs to pull out. I'm going to need you to hold the scooter while I work these out. With those other ones. Where's that big screwdriver? Look at that screwdriver right there. That's all we have with these other two bolts, and that should do it. It's like a 14. Okay, found another thing we need to disconnect right here. Looks like this is attached to the frame somehow. I'm not sure, it's some kind of a vent tube for the CVT, so we need to, there, got that disconnected. It looks like all we need to do now is disconnect this bolt here and then the one on the other side, because there's two of them, and then we should be able to just walk this whole frame and chassis away. Oh wait, we still have to drop this shock. Gotta let this shock absorber. Oh yeah, we do. Okay, we're going to have to remove this canister and then loosen that shock, so we'll do that now. Okay, got this EPA canister housing. This little plastic thing, make sure that's disconnected because it's going to stay with the frame. Can you take pictures up here? You can see what that's for right here. And then we need to disconnect. Oh, get the brake. We have the camera down here for the brake cable. Not, but we need to take the brake cable is going to stay with the frame too. The idea is that we're going to drop this engine and everything and leave it standing right here. It'll be on its little engine stand. At least that's how we did the Chinese ones. This Kymco is a little different. The parts seem to be better, harder steel or something, and the I've got to loop it out of here. Get them out of there. There we go. We'll put the parts back on. Oh, that tire's dry rotted or something. This is a 2009. It's only 5 years old. Either that or somebody ran it when it went flat and they kind of cut it a little bit around the rim. Not sure. Okay, so we've got the cable disconnected. Okay, we'll check and see if there's anything else we need to show you to disconnect. And we should be able to just drop this now and walk this away and leave this standing here on the center stand and do it. Okay, we were able to just loosen all this. We found the wiring harness here. To the stator, so that needs to come undone. And then this one. He's a real bear. It's like he's hung right there. Maybe if I got a pocket screwdriver. Like he doesn't want to bit. Kymco. There it goes, yay! So this is to the motor, so it's a no-brainer. Up here, so we got to take this half of the shroud off so we can disconnect some wires. And we'll disconnect this. It's a vacuum line. And here's the carburetor. I think it's the choke actuator. Electrical. And show the battery. We've disconnected the negative side. Okay. Want this disconnected. Oh yeah, we want to disconnect the carburetor throttle cable. You'll notice there's normally a rubber boot on here. I take those off because they come off and then they fall down here and they get wrapped around the cam, the carburetor cam, and then the scooter takes off. So just leave them off. Just take a pair of dikes and cut the thing off. So take off the carburetor cable. If it will allow us to get the cable part. There we go. So he's disconnected. What else? That looks okay. Whatever this is. It's looking good. What else? This wiring harness piece here goes to the starter motor. Oh, that's our overflow. So there's got to be a connector for this. There is. It's up there somewhere. Okay, you can stop. Well, the first thing we're going to do And one thing I'd like to mention is I bought this scooter used and it ran poorly. It really was lean, so I had to pull the carburetor and clean it out and adjust it. So basically what I've done is I've got this running really good. I'll show you. It's a good running. It's a good running 50cc scooter. And so what I've done is before I even start this project, I made sure I got it running really good. And the first thing you want to do is disconnect the battery, and then once you disconnect the battery, go ahead and remove the seat bucket. There's four. There's 4 bolts. And those 4 bolts, and then this one right here by the seat. And that all appears, oh, there's helmet holders. That all appears to be the same as the Chinese scooters, identical to them. And before I go any further, I want to make sure we disconnect the battery. But we'll film the next steps. Well, here's our Kymco Vitality 50. This is a 4-stroke 50. And I've got the cylinder, piston and rings installed and shoved up in there. I'm going to take my finger and smear a bunch of 2-stroke oil in this cylinder before I install it. But here it is. This is for a 139 QMB. And when I look on my Kymco down here on these serial numbers, I'm not sure. It also says 139, so this should go on there. And you can, this says Kymco on it. Not sure if you can read that or not. Can I zoom in? Yeah. Kymco. Well, it's a spare set I had laying around, so it should give us quite a bit more power. Here's the rest of my parts: gaskets and wrist pin and spacers. And it's like a squish metallic black looking head gasket there. So we're going to use all that, and I've done several of the Chinese scooters. This one's made in Taiwan, and looks to be a little bit different on how to drop this engine and leave it on its center stand like that. And so we'll get started, and we'll just kind of film this as we go along.